Martin O'Neill has been spotted on a scouting mission that's got everyone talking, the mystery surrounding Arne Engels' disappearance deepens, and we've got the Scottish Cup fifth round draw. Plus, Neil Lennon reveals what O'Neill is demanding from the board, and the manager explains his radical team selection against Auchinleck. It's been another eventful 24 hours at Celtic, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Martin O'Neill addressed his appearance at Fir Park during his post-match press conference following Celtic's Scottish Cup win over Auchinleck Talbot. The Celtic manager had been pictured at the Motherwell match the previous day, which immediately sparked discussion about potential scouting activity. Celtic had no fixture on the Saturday, with their fourth-round tie scheduled for Sunday evening at Rugby Park. That gap in the calendar allowed O'Neill and his staff to watch other matches, and his presence in Lanarkshire was quickly noticed by supporters and media alike. The timing of the visit added to the intrigue. Celtic are deep into the January transfer window and remain light in key areas, with O'Neill openly acknowledging the need to strengthen the squad ahead of a demanding run of fixtures. Following the victory over Auchinleck, attention quickly turned back to O'Neill's movements off the pitch. Asked directly about the Fir Park trip, the manager offered a relaxed but revealing explanation of why he was there. One name that inevitably surfaced after the Fir Park visit was Motherwell forward Tawanda Maswanhi's. The 23-year-old has been one of the more consistent attacking performers in the Premiership this season and has already attracted attention from several clubs. While there has been no confirmation of Celtic interest, his profile fits the type of player often discussed during this window. He said, "That was a football mission. That's part of my job, to look at the games if I can get an opportunity. We did it after training. I enjoyed the game. You lads, honestly, you're testing me to the utmost. I was asked that question last week. I think absolutely there are players here in Scotland. There's no doubt at all about it. There are players here that are capable of playing at a higher level. But it's only my opinion." O'Neill's comments underline a broader approach that goes beyond overseas markets. While Celtic continue to be linked with players from England and Europe, the manager has made it clear he does not dismiss domestic options. The Scottish market has often divided opinion among supporters, yet O'Neill's track record suggests he values familiarity with the league. He has previously spoken about understanding the demands of Scottish football and the benefits that can come from recruiting players who already know the environment. The Fir Park visit also fits with O'Neill's wider routine since returning to the club. He has regularly stressed the importance of first-hand observation and prefers to see players in competitive matches rather than relying solely on reports or clips. Now for the main story, as Arne Engels' absence from Celtic's squad for the Scottish Cup tie against Auchinleck Talbot has raised questions among supporters. The midfielder was not named in the starting 11 and did not appear on the bench either. There was no mention of an injury from Martin O'Neill in the build-up to the match. The omission stood out because of the scale of rotation elsewhere. O'Neill made multiple changes, but most senior players were at least included among the substitutes. Engels was the notable exception, with no clear explanation offered before kick-off. Engels has been a regular presence since arriving at the club. He has featured consistently across league and European matches and has quickly become part of the midfield picture. That made his complete absence more striking than a simple rest from the starting lineup. Before the game, O'Neill spoke openly about rotating the squad and giving minutes to players he wanted to assess. He also stressed the importance of keeping experienced figures involved to maintain standards. At no point did he reference a fitness concern relating to Engels. That silence has naturally led to speculation. When a player drops out entirely without explanation, questions follow. In this case, there has been no indication of a knock, illness, or training issue. The timing of the decision may provide the clearest clue. Celtic face Bologna in midweek before travelling to Tynecastle to play Hearts next weekend. Those fixtures carry far more weight in the context of the season than a Scottish Cup tie against non-league opposition. Engels has carried a heavy workload in recent weeks. He has been involved in matches with high physical and mental demands. Resting him completely could be a way of managing that load rather than risking fatigue or a minor issue becoming something bigger. O'Neill has shown since returning that he is prepared to be cautious. He has spoken about managing players carefully during a congested schedule. Keeping key midfielders fresh for decisive matches fits that approach. The Bologna game in particular presents a different challenge. European away ties test concentration and stamina in a way domestic matches often do not. Having Engels available and sharp for that night would be a priority if he is viewed as part of the plan. In other news, Celtic will face Dundee in the fifth round of the Scottish Cup, with the tie set to be played at Celtic Park on the weekend of Saturday, the 7th of February 2026. Martin O'Neill's side booked their place in the next round with a controlled victory over Auchinleck Talbot at Rugby Park. That performance ensured progress without drama and keeps Celtic firmly on course in a competition that still carries huge significance. The fifth round represents a clear step up, regardless of opposition. By this stage of the tournament, margins begin to narrow and the consequences of any lapse become more severe. Celtic will be well aware of that as preparations begin. O'Neill has already stressed the need to treat every cup tie on its own terms. That mindset is likely to shape team selection and approach as Celtic look to maintain momentum while managing a demanding schedule. The timing of the fixture arrives during a busy period. Balancing freshness with continuity will be important, especially with league and European commitments continuing to test the squad. There is also growing interest in how O'Neill uses his squad at this stage. The earlier rounds have offered chances to fringe players, and the fifth round could again provide opportunities depending on circumstances. Experience often matters in the Scottish Cup. Celtic have players who understand what is required in knockout football, and that knowledge can be decisive when games become tight. Attention will now turn to preparation rather than speculation. Training ground focus and match readiness will matter more than reputation or expectation. For supporters, the objective is clear. Progression keeps the dream of another cup run alive and maintains belief as the season reaches a defining phase. With the fifth round confirmed, Celtic know what lies ahead. The task now is to approach it with focus, discipline, and the control that has defined O'Neill's early weeks back in charge. In other news, Neil Lennon has offered his view on the pressure facing Martin O'Neill as Celtic prepare for a crucial league trip to Tynecastle on Sunday. With O'Neill back in the dugout, attention has turned to whether reinforcements will arrive in time to influence the title race. Celtic travel to face Hearts knowing the margins are tight. A win would cut the gap at the top to just 3 points and inject belief into O'Neill's second spell. A defeat, however, would see that gap stretch to 9 points and deepen pressure during a demanding run. The January window remains open, yet Celtic activity has so far been limited. Supporter frustration has grown as rivals have moved quicker. That context makes Sunday's match feel bigger than a normal league fixture. Lennon, who knows both O'Neill and the demands of Celtic management, was clear about what the manager will be seeking. He spoke with certainty about the need for additions and the importance of backing the manager quickly. His comments reflect a wider belief that Celtic cannot stand still. He said, "I think he needs players in, and I think he will push for that. I wouldn't say demand it, but he has made it clear what he wants from the board. I'm sure the board will back him this week." Lastly, Martin O'Neill made 10 changes to his Celtic side for the Scottish Cup tie against Auchinleck Talbot, with the manager explaining his thinking ahead of kick-off. The match comes at a busy point in the calendar, but the scale of rotation still caught attention. Only Callum McGregor kept his place from the midweek win over Falkirk. Celtic arrive at this stage of the Cup with momentum behind them after a narrow league victory on Wednesday night. That result steadied the picture after a demanding run of fixtures and set up a different type of challenge at the weekend. Facing non-league opposition brings its own risks, regardless of venue or status. That's all for today's Celtic news. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily Celtic updates. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about O'Neill's scouting mission and the